and John did a really great job mixing.
I know, this is a killer mix.
He did a great job mixing things down, and I'm proud of it. You know, I feel really good about it. And you know, one thing with Gatos Blancos is, you know, it's a collaborative project, and it's fairly elusive in, you know, when we play, what we play, and what the real, you know, musical agenda is. So
Yeah.
you know, if something good occurred in that session that we liked and feel good about, and it's like, you know, we released a single earlier this year, which was more of a straight ahead acoustic kind of funky bluegrass thing, and then
No, the video is fun. Is that Pappy running through a field?
Yeah, that was Pappy. And that actually takes the original title of that was Sunset in Virgins, but he changed the title to Sunset in Stone as a tribute to Gordon Stone, which Pappy wrote that piece. Sunset.
I'm sorry. Let's try to get the levels here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, crank that down a little bit. That is good. Now that's good. That's good. Gotta get our mic to match it here.
Oh, sure.
There we go.
Cool.
I think that's pretty good. Now I gotta turn my headphones down.
I forgot that you had headphones in. That's how you hear this.
Is that yours?
We got some.
Those are yours.
Yeah. That's good. That's good mixing.
Alright, this is me. Alright, one more mic. Check. How's this? What do you think? Those are better headphones.
Yeah, that's
So
good. That's
you
good
might
for
have
me.
you might have to keep me informed of the balance. I'm trying to get the right balance between the music and the mic. So
Oh, man, we got some folks.
it's hard to do with the in-ear monitors. I mean, music seems loud. But
Music's not loud for me right now.
Okay,
But,
compared to, I'm saying the balance between the music and the microphone.
it's fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Can everyone hear the music and the talking evenly? Got a good little crowd.
Nice. Hey, everybody. I know some of you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweating a little bit. It's summer here.
Hard to hear you guys.
Yeah, I think it's hard to hear us talking. Let me turn this up a little. Check. 1, 2.
How was that?
Is that better?
Isaiah.
1, 2. Hey.
Check 1, 2.
Whee! Yeah, let me turn this up too. All right. We'll make some adjustments. Here. Back, let's do this. There we go. Get a little more level. Yeah, now we're gonna get going. I'll turn the headphones down.
Cool.
Check. That's a little better. A little more level. There we go. How's that now, folks? Is that better? I got a new interface recently. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
I got a new interface, so I'm learning my way around it a little bit. All right, good. I feel like we're in a
Yeah, I think we're
pretty good zone now.
rocking and rolling.
So again, if you're just showing up while we're getting the sound dialed in and everything, what you're listening to is Gatos Blancos. This is Justin Mazer sitting with me, plays guitar. You got Pappy from Cabinet in this group. John Kimmock plays with Mike Gordon. A bunch of other people. He does his own music too. Stursky from Cabinet. Yeah.
Yep.
Al, I really like Al's playing too. That's like a really cool setup you guys have with 2 drummers, but one plays keyboards.
Yeah,
That's
Al
cool
kind of
setup.
has a space station laboratory of keyboards and percussion drums.
Yeah.
Not too much of either, but he does commit to bringing the Leslie and the Hammond organ and everything out and all that. But at the end of the day, it's just the space station he creates that is great because, again, over the years of all 5 of us playing together in different projects and collaborating, we have all these unique pockets of chemistry. So Al and John in particular have a great, they could both do some really cool percussive drum stuff together where it's like one four-armed monster at times. But there's so many different combinations of chemistry in that group that lend itself so nicely to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The improv stuff where, we could work out a tune for 3 or 4 hours and get a basic track going, but then we just let the tape roll and do this stuff. And I would think that some of these pieces could end up being songs, or we could go back and listen to these and kind of take out parts that jumped out at us and then develop even more so down the road. But also as a standalone, again, we're all really happy with how some of the stuff came out. John did a great job mixing and kind of picking some of these pieces and editing, and it didn't do any overdubs or anything like that. But as far as I know, there was a little bit of mixing that went along, and it's just cool stuff that we're proud of, that we're happy to, and that's a big part of our live shows too. So improv for sure.
I haven't got to see a show yet.
We haven't really played too many, and we've had a few sub drummers this year because John has been busy. So for Peach Fest and for some of the shows we had this summer, we'll have the original lineup with John, and we're definitely excited to. We have songs, we have plenty of songs we've been working out. But in addition, the improv stuff is also something that we really enjoy doing together. So that inevitably will become a part of our our live
How much
show.
would you say is like original, just stuff you guys have made as a group, and stuff that people are bringing in from, like, cabinet songs versus things that you have?
Sure. It's one of those things where, because we all play in different bands, like I play in a band called Starbird, which is 3/5 of Gatos Blancos, but Al plays drums. So naturally, like, if there's a song that I wrote that's conducive to both playing as a trio and with the band, we'll do that. Or maybe we'll play a cabinet song.
Right.
But there's not really any rules or guidelines. It's kind of like, if we have shows coming up, we'll fashion a set list together, and just see what happens, and do things our own way. And it's kind of like almost Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young in that regard, where like everyone has their own songs from either bands they used to play with, or just songs of their own that would work well in that configuration, that take on their own identity with Gatos Blancos. But ultimately,
you want to pick another?
Oh, sure. We're carving out. Cool. This is another. All these tracks are currently untitled. This is track 1 into track 2.
Is some of this stuff that we're listening to right now unreleased?
Yes. This is
wow.
all. We've been unveiling.
Exclusive.
It's exclusive. So if you're hanging around Facebook, midday, you're in for a nice treat. But if anybody tries to bootleg it and sell it at our shows, I'll be pretty upset. I don't think anybody, except for Keith Wissenberger, I don't think he's here. But
Remove this light.
sure.
I'm trying to get all dialed in. Cables everywhere.
Cool.
Oh, no, now it's in the mirror. It's not gonna work.
There's an orb that's joining us.
Yeah, there we go. You're just gonna have to deal with that. It's your cool. You just the trade-off, man. Your cool hat is like kind of putting you in the shade.
I know. Well, if you stay perfectly where you are, then there's just the one orb
good.
that's
We're good
joining.
now.
Yeah, cool.
We see, this is a professional production. We've got my sweaty forehead. Justin's in the shade with the hat.
Drinking some coffee.
Air conditioner is cranking.
Yep. But I lost my train of thought in regards to Gatos Blancos. It's a fun collaborative project that it means a lot to us because it really, yes, we work towards building it in different ways, but really it's just for the 5 of us, for all of our calendars to align and play together. That in itself is like something that's special, because we're all working in different capacity in different projects together. There's so many. I play with Pappy a lot in Vermont, and when I would play gigs together, We have Starbird, which is Dylan, Al, and I. I've played with John as the Jimmy project.
Yeah.
And over the years, it's just been so much of that, so much of these little one-off gigs and projects where we're all collaborating and playing each other's music, where for the five of us to kind of be an entity where there's not really any rules, it's like, I would go ahead and say it's like borderline indulgent in some ways, you know?
Yeah.
Just because it's exciting that we all actually get to.
Yeah.
And we all juggle a lot too, you know, and it's one of those things that when the calendar aligns and we play a show, that it could be, there's varying degrees of, you might end up being more of this, or it might end up being more song oriented. It really depends, but there's no guideline for that. It's just kind of how situational to the rooms we're playing and the vibe, the energy of the room, crowd, and what we're feeling that day.
I understand. That's how our little Lucifer project is. You know, we've got people that all do their own thing in other bands and solo, but the calendar is calendar's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Thankfully, it's like most of the projects that I do are with the same core group of 5 or 6 guys, or a lot of the performances that I play are with those same guys in some capacity, whether they're, you know, smaller gigs either in Pennsylvania or Vermont, or, you know, bringing any of the projects out on the road. It's like, yes, there's 5 or 6 counters getting tossed around, but it's among the same couple groups with the same people, so it all manages to work out. But
this track is hit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Al wrote this one.
Oh, really? Cool.
Well, I heard,
or made it up on the spot.
Yeah, I guess, or something.
This one's hip. I like this.
But what's cool is, for me as a guitar player, I have the outlets of kind of having this band as a thing that I could bring ideas into, and they take on their own identity, whereas I have another outlet that's completely different with the same guys in Starbird.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different creative templates that all of us could play with, and it's I enjoy that aspect because I get to kind of see different identities of my musical ideas.
Yeah.
Through the eyes of my friends.
Well, they frame them. You know, other musicians frame however you, and likewise, you know, they frame however you play things.
So yeah, that's another, you know, mutually beneficial thing about the project. But you know, it's right now we probably play about 20 shows a year, I would say.
That's a good
amount. Which we're happy with. But it's one of those things where I mean,
Drucifer would be lucky to get half that.
Right. Well, yeah, 20 is modest in regards to like aiming high, but it's one of those things where you know, if we could get 20 quality shows under our belts where we're all happy with, you know, that's much better than maybe it's not a band that necessarily will play ever play, you know, 100 shows a year or anything like that. But that's not really why it exists.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it
might not be as fun if you played 100 shows a year.
Well, I feel that way about any band, and thankfully I'm in a position where I never planned on you know, in terms of like what I do, I have about 3 or 4 projects that I am always out with, and I never plan on that being the scenario for me, but I enjoy it because I get to play with all different. I get to cover a lot of musical ground between those 4 projects, and it's all people that I really like, and it's all bands I really enjoy playing with. So not everybody I know, at least, that plays music is able to say that they have the 4 different outlets for doing what they like. 'Cause at the end of the day, I just like to play guitar.
Got a question right here.
Sure.
That's a good one. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I think we met through Dave Butler, but was it to do a show, or was it just we were just jamming or something?
I think Dave messaged me probably 4 or 5 years ago about playing a show of your music as a trio. Around this time of year, it was just a one-off gig that it was going to be Andrew Altman and friends.
Where was it? Was it that Wild West City?
Jersey. It was the Hobo stage, right?
Was it Wild West City?
Wild West City in Netcom, New Jersey.
Here we go, Wild West City.
But that was the first time we met, the first time
That was the first show we did.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Dave used to have these jam sessions in his rehearsal space. I just couldn't remember if it was one of those.
Did we ever do?
We did some later, but I don't know if it was after that.
Right.
Gig. But yeah, anyways, we met through Dave Butler.
There was a period where you played American Babies. It was before I joined, but I don't know if there was any shows where that necessarily. There may have been 1 or 2 where like we were on stage with American Babies together.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there was like. No. Did you do any of those guest
I did one of the
There's like the residency.
the Brooklyn Bowl. Yeah.
Were you on that?
We in fact Leroy Justice opened
I remember
one of the
that,
shows,
yeah.
and we have Sloan from Leroy
Sloan's here,
Justice hanging out with Jersey
sitting screaming.
style.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been crossing paths for a better portion of 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
at this point, but we don't always get to necessarily play together.
Right. We did today.
We did.
Joe
Crank
was
that.
at Wild West City.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hi, Liz.
We have people here who were. Tom was there too. You were at the Tom. Were you at the Wild West City? Wow, that's an out place to play a show.
And we played with a guitar player. Like,
Oh yeah, Jeff Atchison.
that was a good show. We backed him for a few
Yeah.
tunes. But yeah, and then since then we maybe crossed paths a few times a year, but
Yeah.
not as much as I necessarily.
Right.
I'd love to work or play
Yeah.
more with you, but again, talking about juggling calendars, it's like
Yeah.
you have bandmates and friends that play music that
So speaking of this,
put on.
we did play today. Should we do this tune? Should we actually play? Since we're between songs.
Yeah,
you wanna try to do this?
We could, yeah. We might as well. I mean, if
All right, we're gonna do a listening lounge first. We're actually gonna play live. So as part of this series, what I do is usually after we do this sort of hangout session, we just make up a tune real quick or just finish an idea that whoever the guest has. But today we did it first, so I think we're prepared to actually probably play it. So let's see if we can do it. We're gonna get some instruments and actually do this.
Cool. Yeah, let me know. This will be worth the wait.
Grab a guitar, man.
Cool.
All right. So let's see.
Sloan, did you bring your melodica?
All
Wish I did. It's an easy one, man.
So just we're gonna play. That's why you're not hearing any music right now. So just hang with us for a second. This will be the listening lounge debut. Got a guitar coming in. So just and whenever the end of that microphone is, we're gonna plug that into the board so that you go right in. Here, let's get some bass going. A little bass DI. See if this will even work actually. Ooh.
Where's this going?
That button here. Plug it right into here. Channel 3. There you go. That buttery bass direct. There we go.
Get some volume here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you hand me my pick? This is gonna be fun. It's an experiment. It's a listening lounge first, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the first time? Nice.
First time we're playing live. So first thing, let me let's get you dialed in. Yeah, that mic's on. Flatten out my EQ. Center.
Are you in a position to step on that tuner?
Sure.
And then I should be all clear.
Ooh, sick.
I guess we'll have to leave the tremolo on then.
You can turn it off if you want. If you want to get up and do that, we also need to turn the AC off for this expedition.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Or are you in it?
Sure.
Yeah. If you want to crank both those things out, we'll be in good shape. Does sound great though.
You want to do some tremolo off, yeah?
Yeah.
Living room concert. Here we go. This is something Justin and I just recorded
45 minutes ago.
Yeah, we did it in 1 hour. Oh yeah, get your guitar, Kendall.
Whoop.
Break it.
There has to be at least my headstock showing, so there's
Let's
proof
see.
that we're-
Yeah, let's get a level here.
I could probably use a little bit more of you.
Yeah, more of me.
Yeah.
You mix us. I'm channel 2.
Cool.
Or you could just turn. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Or we could turn your headphones up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's just do that.
Because you're gonna distort the.
Right.
Yep.
Is that?
Pull it down to 0 and let me turn your headphones up. You are headphones. Is that?
Perfect.
Do you need more of your guitar?
I'm good.
You are?
Yeah, I'm
okay,
good.
cool. How does it sound, friends? We're mixing on the fly. All right, so this is a tune we just recorded in 1 hour, and I'm gonna mix it and we'll put it out later, but we'll play it live for you. Here, hit mute on channel 1. That's the vocal, yeah. There we go. All right, let's do it. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. There we go. Facebook Live first. Listening lounge first. The first live performance. That's a
tune.
Yeah, it was great, man. That's a little thing Justin had kicking around, and we just recorded it here in my living room before this, and I'm gonna do some mixing and editing and whatnot, and I've done one of these with Kevin too, and eventually it'll be a record or an EP or something. Say bye-bye. Say
Nice.
bye-bye, Precision Bass. Fender, this is a Fender commercial. Hashtag Fender all day.
That's right. Awesome. Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by Fender. Maybe we'll get endorsements from this podcast.
Yeah, hey, did we get together for shits and giggles? Well, it's with both. I mean, if we got together for shits and giggles, we probably would be like, I don't know, out on my back porch drinking a beer or something.
Absolutely.
Not sitting in front of the internet.
Yeah, there's some degree or some level of we're splitting the difference between
Yeah.
the shits and giggles and doing some productive shit.
Yeah, I'm giggling.
Productive.
I'm not so much shitting.
It's productive shits and giggles.
Yeah. But yeah, part of the master plan was this was a chance. I mean, I kind of came up with this idea just to get together and hang out with some other musicians while I'm off the road and do things. Like, there's something to put out for people to see, whether it's this video you can hang out or stuff on Instagram and YouTube. But also, I've been recording as part of these sessions, and hopefully, though, like I said, there'll be a record or an EP of some fun instrumental things. Because at least for me, what happens all the time is I get home working on my own music, and I'll just spend a month working on one song and nothing ever comes out, and it's just time evaporates. This has been it's power hour.
Well,
write a song and or record a thing, and then.
Well, the cool thing about the concept is, it forces you to kind of be like, all right, here's a riff I had floating around. Let's go here and work it out quickly and not think too much about it at all, and then it exists, and it's a thing that is something that's forever immortalized.
Speaking of music, let's since we're done with the live portion, let's hear some more. What do you want to play for us?
Sure. So this song's called Track 4.
Okay, Track 4.
We've listened. The first song was Track 1 into Track 2.
We've been listening to Gatos Blancos live. Or not live. They did an improv session that has been mixed by John Kimmock. Plays drums in Gatos Blancos.
To be released later this year.
Yeah.
And we might do a series of them as well.
If you've been following them on Instagram at all, you can hear little pieces. They've been putting out some sort of video teasers.
Now, I will say the concept for this actually started the first time we recorded in Vermont, which was over a year ago. It was the first time we got into the studio to record the single that we released, Sunset in Stone, and we bought a tape, the analog tape, for that session in particular, and we had the backside of the tape, and we had about 20 to 30 minutes to kill, so we recorded the two songs we wanted, and the engineer was like, or collectively we're all like, let's just play for 20 minutes, and we recorded it onto the tape, and we listened back, and we were really happy with the result of that. So then the second time we got into the studio, kind of kicked things into high gear and just left ourselves to our own devices for a couple hours. And again, I personally thought that that was some of the cooler stuff that we came up with, over the course of our band's existence.
So, like right here, I hear a lot of percussive sounds. Is Al also playing percussion right now?
I can't 100% confirm it, but I'm fairly certain that.
It sounds like a lot of percussion for one man. John Kimmock is not just any man, but
no, he's a superhuman. Superhuman.
It sounds like a lot of arms.
Yeah, this piece is a little bit shorter than the other one on the clock, but yeah, and just to kind of, what's cool about these two is the visualization of this. It's January. It's about 9 or 10 p.m. It's negative whatever degrees outside. There's snow on the ground, and we're in this nice, cozy little studio in the middle of Waitsfield, Vermont. And turned all the lights out and just did, let ourselves do this for a couple hours. So it was like, the vibe of where we were, pretty much directly dictates how these things came out.
Speaking of it being 30 below reminded me that it's not that right now. It's like
It's the opposite.
it's
right
like
now.
90 degrees, and I turned the air conditioner off. So I'm gonna go turn it back on.
So yeah, this might be more of a winter listen. I don't really know, but so that was a little 3-minute piece. And I'll throw on another one here. This is track 8. So switching up a little bit.
So you said one of these. I mean, I understood it to be all improvisation, but you said one of these Al wrote, or any of these ones.
I
you wrote?
was being
Okay. I didn't know if it was like guided improvisation, or like kicking it off. Someone kicked something off.
Well, what's cool is in a live setting we could kind of merge the songs with this,
Right.
and use the songs as, obviously as guidelines to. Whereas there was no real frame of reference or guideline as to where things were going to go at any point. But the live show is kind of marrying those two worlds, for us at least, or not. But whatever happens. But we like to embrace the.
We talked about it. There's my mom.
Oh hey, nice.
There she is.
I don't think my mom is tuned in yet, but
Justin
There's
said my
still
mom's
time.
gonna show up. I said my mom shows up every time.
nothing wrong with that.
Chucky the head. Is that your mom?
No, it's not my mom. That's I don't know Chucky, but we got 15 people. That's pretty.
Tom sure is commenting a lot. Is that your mom?
Tom is not. No, although I'm familiar with Tom. Good supporter of the projects.
So and just so anyone knows, we've been listening to a lot of Gatos Blancos, hanging with Justin Mazer, plays guitar with them, and Starbird. If you guys have questions, push them in there.
Please.
But you don't just play with Gatos and Starbird.
Correct.
You also.
I have a few as I mentioned, I have a few projects. So it would be nice to chat about some of the other ones as well. So outside of the extended cabinet community. Here, these projects are kind of based. For the last year, I've been working with Ryan Montbleu, the Ryan Montbleu Band, fantastic band. Most people are familiar with him.
I got to see one of those shows too. I haven't seen him since I think was it American. I don't think you were there, but American Babies. I think we opened for him. Maybe.
Oh, I wasn't there for that, but that's
it was a long time ago. I think that's right. Anyways, I saw him at Highline Ballroom. I was there for some reason. I think it was American Babies opened or something like that. But it's been a while since I've seen him. He runs in a little different circle. I think,
a little bit.
Crowd and all.
I like to say I live on the outskirts of jam band world, like on somewhere between Americana, country, bluegrass, singer-songwriter stuff, with just a hint of the jam, but it's the outskirts.
So the city life's too crazy for you.
Yeah, see, I live in like the suburb, like the jam, like
you play it safe.
Like if Manhattan is Lock-In Festival, I'm like I would be in. Not even in Hoboken. I would be in like, Sloan. Where do you live? Tenafly. I'd be like in Tenafly.
Yeah, you played it safe.
Kind of
right,
on the outskirts.
Here, let's listen to some more music.
So we got a couple more here.
If you're living in the burbs, I'm kind of like. I'm pretty close to the center of town.
You're pretty much figuratively right.
I'm living one street over from Shakedown Street.
This is a little minute and a half long piece. Again,
I couldn't afford Shakedown Street. I had to move. It's gentrifying. My street is gentrifying.
It may come at the expense of your soul as well if you're in the heart of it all.
Yeah.
But coming back to Ryan Montbleu, he does live in an interesting world where we will play like the quote unquote New England jam festivals, which I love. I love the community, I love the people at those. But at the same time, we'll also do a lot of singer-songwriter listening rooms. Lots of seated theaters and such, and rooms where there's a bit of an arc to the show where a great portion of it is listening. And he has such great songs, and they're presented in a way that is more of
Do people, are they quiet, or is it?
Oh, yeah, but what ends up happening is the arc of the show, and I know from talking to him that he's, put thought into this in his work on this for a while, but the arc of the show kind of goes from that to a dance party thing at some point, and then maybe back down. And there's like a wave of kind of like more heartfelt, about, I don't even want to say ballady type tunes, but more songs that demand your listening attention versus stuff that at some point will be more of a dance. Because he has such a large body of work.
Well, that's what's tricky. But I was curious about it because that's what's tricky for Railroad Earth, because we have a range of material too. I mean, we have really quiet ballads. We have
it's very
the band is songwriter based, but the problem is we can never play the ballady stuff live because people talk over it.
Right.
It just and that's fine. People come to a concert, they can do what they want. I'm not one of those people that's like, shut the fuck up. I don't really care. I mean, it's fine. You bought your ticket. You do what you want. Well, but it's just it's a logistical obstacle as a performer. You're like...
Absolutely. The one thing that I admire about Ryan is that over the years of doing this, he's been able to carve out the rooms and settings and dynamic of his show that he knows will work. Mm-hmm. And I know that there were probably portions of that process that may not have been, I think it took him a second to realize, this is my thing, this is what I do, this is how it works, these are the rooms that it works in. And all the rooms that we play and the festivals and stuff, it's really nice because people come to hear the songs and they enjoy the, hearing the songs performed as they are. But then they also, if we do a jam thing or more of a dancier number, they'll go with us on that. But then if we bring it back down to do a ballady tune, usually throughout the show there's a point where Ryan will, we're going to put back on 5, 6, and 7. I may have spun this early, but for those just tuning in, we'll give it a reprise. But in regards to the Ryan set, if we do something big, rockin', dancey, and then we bring it back down to a folk tune, or sometimes he will do 3 or 4 songs by himself, people go with him on that. Yeah. People follow him, and they respect that arc of the show.
That's cool.
Which is really, being on stage and feeling that it's really nice.
Cool.
It's really nice to kind of, and the same thing. I guess I'll also take a second and talk about the Yes Darling band, which is another thing that.
Real quick before you go there.
Sure.
Did you have any of the Starbird stuff?
I don't currently. Okay. I could potentially pull up something on YouTube. I'm not sure how well it would sound through these speakers, but we could possibly give it a shot.
I thought you guys did a record, or no? Did you put one out? I thought you put one out.
We haven't put anything out. We have plenty of recordings. We're in the process of now recording something. It's funny because I don't
know why I thought you guys had a record or some EP.
We have a bunch of tunes, and there's one kind of thing that we're working on. It's more of a concept album in terms of it's the way that the songs have to be. It's kind of like a piece that has 6 or 7 songs that will have reoccurring themes and melodies throughout it's like one big piece that has these different little movements in them. So that's a little involved.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the long-term thing that we're working on. But more currently, we're trying to do just an EP of some other stuff that's not in that concept piece.
So the Yes Darling thing.
Yes, the Yes Darling thing. So Ryan Montbleu has in addition to his band thing, which is a well-established kind of entity on its own, he recently started writing songs with Haley Jane and the Primates.
She live in New York?
She's actually in Burlington as well.
Okay. I don't know why I thought that was like a New York thing. I think some of my New York friends have played with her. Maybe that's why I just assumed that she was also New York, but I guess not.
But I'm friends with her, members of her band, and I've known them for a few years, and they're great folks, and it's all, all in that same collective community of players. So, but basically the concept behind Yes Darling is it kind of blurs the lines between a play or musical and a concert in terms of playing with a full band, where we're essentially an orchestra pit band.
You don't have an acting role, man?
Well, we're actually like...
You're not in the dance ensemble? You do a dance number?
Well, we're working towards that in some ways, because basically the album...
I know you like to run, I know you like to exercise. You can't let your athletic gifts go to waste, man.
I have to wear a suit, which is cool.
Huh?
It's a nice.
When
nice
I was
suit.
in the Code Talkers, that's all we wore. We wore a suit for.
I feel cool. I feel
Yeah.
like I play better guitar with the suit on.
Mm-hmm. You probably sound better.
Yeah,
at
better
least.
tone.
Yeah.
The tone of my guitar is actually better when
Yeah.
I have a suit on.
We wore suits for a year and a half, and we played mostly in the South. I washed my suit twice in a year and a half.
Oh, I'm waiting for the festival set, which could happen next week actually, where it's gonna, because I'll leave the jacket on out of principle.
Yeah, it was like a
Pros,
thing. We had
yeah.
to. We never took them off. Yeah, it was
It'll
hot.
kind of
It
throw
was-
off the whole show, so that's just commitment to the cause. But so the band kind of sets up on like far stage right, and then there's a couch that. And the whole arc of the show is basically Ryan and Haley are a couple that play music that they're a dysfunctional couple that play music, and the
That makes
set,
sense.
Yeah. And the set kind of reflects a number of things, songs that tap into kind of what it means to be in a relationship in 2018.
Oh,
And
wow.
also, it's funny, it's comical, it can get heavy at times. It's also very lighthearted and it's fun, and musically, to fit those different
Are
emotions.
you like
and
playing
vibes.
charts and stuff, or is it just songs?
There's songs, but I'm also relying heavily on vocal cues from them.
Right.
There's certain points where it's not necessarily, you can't follow a chart because you're looking at Ryan for a cue, or there's points where they just have a dialogue,
Yeah.
between the two of them, and we're kind of like, all right, here we go, and then we're off. So, it's a great, I don't want to say a challenge, but it's definitely, for me, in terms of playing shows, that's a new territory
Yeah.
in terms of all the things that are required of me to make that gig cool as a guitar player.
Yeah. Speaking of guitar, let's see this. Since we had the instruments out,
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's probably.
we'll get into some nerd shit here.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, I'd like to show the people the secret to any tone, any great guitar tone. It's not these buttons. It's these buttons.
The I Love Maui sticker is where that seems to be the fan favorite.
This is the secret.
Flair.
Sex, drugs, flat and scrugs. That's odd on an electric
I have some
guitar.
good ones. There's Eddie Vedder right there.
That makes a little more sense. On an electric guitar, you've got this.
Pappy Biondo, thank him for that.
Yeah. Jimmy.
It's the Coal Town Rounders, it's my buddy's band. Some of them I don't know where I got them from. Boot Photography, and all these, I think these are actually, can't confirm them, but see how they're all the theme, they're all, but they're not the same. I think they're all strains of weed. I think they're all different strains of weed that's in Colorado or somebody. So
There's Dave.
hey, Dave.
Devo.
Nice of you to join us finally.
Someone asked how Justin and I met, and your name came up. So, this is like a vintage or like a relic or a? I mean, it looks old.
That guitar actually has a great story.
Let's hear it. I love instrument stories.
Sure, yeah. So that's been my main guitar for about 6 or 7 years, and I bought it in a Service Plaza parking lot from a guy on Craigslist for $400.
Wow.
And over the course of the last 6 or 7 years,
I bought that guitar off the side of the road from some guy on Craigslist too.
Nice. I remember it wasn't really like, I knew what I was buying at the time, and over the course of 6 or 7 years, I replaced every single part on the body with the exception of the guitar rather. The only original part of the guitar is the body.
Mm-hmm.
All the
I see.
electronics and the neck and the tuners, every single part at one point was replaced.
I've done that. One of the first guitars the first electric guitar I ever bought was a Squire Strat, and I've replaced everything except the body.
So
I don't know why people do that. Like, why don't you just buy a good guitar? But
I mean, I like to modify stuff.
No, I do
it's
too.
there. It's there for a reason to kind of personalize, and that's exactly what I did with this. One thing at a time.
This is cool though. I love these kind of tremolos on a telly. That's a really hip thing.
Well, I got that because my other guitar I mainly use as a Jazzmaster, and I missed having that, and I love the portability of that and just reliability in terms of traveling. Since I play with a lot of different bands and I do fly dates and I'm traveling a lot, and sometimes I'm traveling and I kind of just need to have the one guitar for a 2 or 3 week period. That one always seems to work the best for everything. So that's why it became my my number one guitar that I use because it's the
Is it
most
surf
versatile.
wax or something? What is this?
Maybe at one point
Somebody's surfing on the back.
I had stickers on there at one point, and then I put a thing on there, and somehow the Sharpie like bled through, so I don't even know what that's from.
That's amazing. Like a laminate?
Yeah, and then
or like a sticky?
the ink like bled through, so it's 926. That was from probably an American Baby show or something.
That's
I
awesome. That's a cool trick. I mean, someone's gonna like some relic dude somewhere is gonna
Like, how did you do
copy
that? Yeah,
you know, like, copy
I could
that.
patent my own. I could charge a lot of money to do that. But that's the number one, and it really is. It's been kind of indestructible, and it really holds up well, nicely on the road. And again, in terms of like having
What's
a guitar.
the neck? Where'd you get the neck?
That's a actual that neck was made in Japan, early 2000s. That's the third neck I've had on that guitar.
I used to have a Japanese jazz bass. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Fender. There was
a fretless, though. I
There was a
don't
couple good years where the production in Japan was pretty high quality, and I tried to find one with that. I didn't, but I also didn't necessarily break the bank on that neck. But it was just one that like felt good and paired well with the body, and the rest is history.
So, how do you feel about this? So you've got the finish on the back of the neck. Now check this out. Did you ever get hip to this thing? Have you ever tried one of these? So the back of my neck has got this like the finish is like not on there.
But yeah, mine is also. If you
Oh
notice,
really?
I
It felt that kind of sticky.
I kind of split the difference. It's hot. It's July, man. A lot of grime on there.
Yeah, I see. So here we go, Dave.
Snacks?
I'll show you. Dave wants to know what kind of snacks we've been getting into because Dave's listening lounge session was very snack heavy.
He embraced-
Justin, if you notice, look at this. You know, this young athletic figure. I don't think he eats, so we haven't been snacking.
Well, I'm just on the road. I don't have time. I'm on the road all the time. You know, just don't have time to eat. Sometimes you got to make the sacrifice. But it looks like you have a nice piece here to present to Dave.
Here you go, Dave.
Challenge Dave's question here.
Bobo's. Peanut butter, of course. This is the snack, ladies and gentlemen, this is the snack bar that eats like a meal. Let me just go ahead and crinkle this wrap, just so you can hear the quality of the wrap. Let me just crinkle it in the microphone. Yeah.
Very nice. And this is my 14th cup of coffee today.
Yeah. There we go. Snacks for Dave.
And Dave, I wore my finest hat to top yours from the previous listening lounge I tuned in. You had a cool hat on that day, so
Yeah.
I wore my finest hat to impress you. So I'm glad you tuned in.
That was cool. It's fun to get the some of the gear details, the deep nerd stuff. You look like you're sponsored by Electro Harmonics.
Well, this pedal board is just what I happened to have at my house when you texted me to come do this. So that was kind of when I finalized my thought for what tune I wanted to work out with you. That just happened to be the tools that were there. So, but that's I love that freeze pedal. Is Mark Friedman. I thank him for introducing me to the freeze pedal. That's that really changed the whole arc of songwriting, especially in Starbird. That almost acts as a fourth member of the band at times in terms of what it does.
Let's see, Todd Jones.
Wow. Todd Jones is 40. He's seen Railroad Earth 40 or 50 times. Hey, Elena. Oh wow.
Yeah, well, it was good to meet you, man.
Thanks, Elena.
But I don't know. That boat cruise wasn't the best experience. If it's been a while since you've seen the band, it was the production left something to be desired. I'll just put it that way. Hopefully you can join us again in the future in a more savory setting. See, look.
Elena, she's coming at me. My snack game isn't necessarily. I have no snack game for this listening lounge, but
Right.
next time I know to come prepared. Especially if Butler's tuning in.
You can always count on Butler to bring the snack in the hat game.
Oh man, trying to. I could eat.
And we're in my house.
Right.
Use it as a studio. We're in my house.
Well, just I don't know. Well, have you ever spent time on the road with Dave at all in
A
any
little bit, yeah. We
capacity?
did American Babies. We did.
Cool. So
we did a weekend run or two together, and we did a Drucifer run.
Sloan knows about Dave's appetite for just outlandish, destructive. I don't say destructive.
I have video of him on the go-karts.
Oh yeah. Well, do you remember the first time we rehearsed with him when Dave played in the band Leroy Justice for a minute.
Yeah.
The first time we rehearsed in Brooklyn, at least 4 times throughout the rehearsal.
Say hi to Dave.
Yeah, pop in.
Here.
There we go. Sloan Marshall.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Say hi, get in there.
All right, what's
Look
up,
at this
Dave?
crew.
Man, I can't hear anything.
Former Leroy Justice. Well, we can't hear either. We just look at the. We can only hear ourselves talking.
Oh,
We're
man.
only reading this.
I gotcha.
So my Dave story. Sloan was there for that the first
Let's get some
time.
more tunes though.
Oh yeah, cool. The first time that Leroy Justice.
Joe, this is Sloan happened to be stopping by. He played in Leroy Justice with Mazer back in the day. He came by to drop off an amp for Mazer. Or you can introduce yourself.
No, I like the way
That was-
you know.
You like
that?
that?
Was
You
great.
like that?
That was great.
Listening
that was
You like that?
Listening
perfect.
loud.
Better myself.
Cool. So all right. So Dave Butler. This pretty much speaks of his character pretty nicely. But this rehearsal, it was in Brooklyn. I don't remember where, but at least 4 times throughout the rehearsal, Dave mentioned to me and just like under his breath, "Man, there's this really great ice cream place. I can't wait to have this. It's the best ice cream in Brooklyn." And I'm like, "That's cool. I'm psyched for you. You know, it's gonna be great." And then we're all shaking hands, about to take the train or wherever, go our separate ways. And then there was like a moment, or not even, like a second of silence. And Dave's like, "You guys gonna come get the ice cream with me?" Or,
Yeah.
and we're like, "All right." And then we went, and then that was kind of like, that's a huge selling point for playing in a band with Dave. Is he's got you covered on the.
He's done that to me a few
on the
times
food.
too. You leave, it's like, oh, I'm going to this such and what joint. There's a great fill in the blank. This. Okay.
Oh, it's crazy. Everywhere you go in the country, Dave's got a spot that's like the 5-pound, burrito with a bomb that explodes, and or that time in Pittsburgh where we had
The Primanti brothers.
the Primanti brothers. We got like 10 of those, and
Yes.
that
Then
was.
we needed one for like 6 people.
Oh, my
but
God.
Edit of every one of them.
Well, actually, I went to the van a week later. This was around that time of the year, and we forgot to take those remaining sandwiches out, and that was like by the time we weren't really using the van too much. But man, that was like, talk about the van. I guarantee still smells from just that one sandwich. Dave, thanks.
Is that like a drummer thing? So when I was one of my earliest drumming compadres was Mark Radabal. He played in the Code Talkers with me. He plays in Dawn of the Buffalo now.
Oh, I know. I met him recently.
Yeah. He was. It was like after every show, he was the guy. Like we played Primanti Brothers. We played Pittsburgh. Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were staying on some other side of town or something, and he was like, "Dude, you gotta go to Primanti, bro. It's 3 a.m. You know."
That
he's
sounds like Dave. That's what Dave.
I was like,
hear that.
I'm going to bed, dude. What are you talking? He like went by himself or something to like get this fucking sandwich in the middle of the
Dave,
night. Like, what is?
Dave's the kind of guy that also might, yeah, it's 15 minutes out of the whatever, like we'll make it happen. We'll budget the time and energy for good food. But that's become a
Like
part
most people, like this stereotype is like the gig gets done, the musicians go looking for like women and drugs in the bar, and like all the drummers I know go looking for snacks, Like,
yeah, late night eats. But that's kind of the way that I at this point with traveling and touring, Dave has had a good inspiration on me with that. It's like that's the way that you could only way sometimes you could treat yourself if you're passing in and out of a city. You don't get to sightsee or do touristy shit. You get to have a good meal, get a good meal under your belt. A couple weeks ago, I was in Nashville, and for the first time, I waited in line for an hour with my buddies for the Hattie B's hot chicken.
Okay.
And I only have to do that once, but I'm glad I did. And throughout cities in America, it's like you do that once, and it's like that's better than doing touristy stuff in my mind.
People are all like, so, man, like Guy Fieri, these guys, Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. These guys get all the credit, like they go around the country like this is new. We've been doing this shit for decades, man.
Literally,
we've been going around the corner to every. No one's following us around with a camera.
No. We hope that people just in general follow us around in any capacity, let alone with a camera.
These guys do what we do in our off time for a career and make way more money than all this.
Yeah, they're getting paid to do what
It's a travesty. That's a travesty.
At least we get to make music, I guess.
Yeah.
But see, and that's the thing about those guys. They want to play music, but they can't. They don't, or they can't. So.
Maybe Guy Fieri sits around in his hotel room playing guitar.
I
I'm
would-
like, man, these guys. I've been traveling and playing guitar, and no one's following me around with a
That's like the guy from the digress for a minute, but the guy from My Cat from Hell, Jay Galaxy. Ever watch that show? He's like a rockabilly guitar player that also is like a cat whisperer. Which I could see, I'm modeling my career after him basically.
Rockabilly guitar, cat whispering.
Because I love cats, but at the same time he has the angle of he has the rocker kind of during the day or during the night, he's playing shows with his band.
Yeah.
But during the day he's
he's got the tattoo.
he's rescuing cats from being tortured souls of individuals or whatever. So that's cool too, That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, I'll let you guys get back. If I
Yeah,
can
man.
find that footage of
Jay-
Butler and
Jay
in the
Galaxy, yes,
go-kart,
please do.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, how long does this track got? We'll probably cut it after this one.
This has about 2 minutes left, so any
Cool.
final questions or comments or thoughts or from anybody out there, thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Andrew.
man, this is fun. I love doing
Yes,
these.
indeed. Took me a second to get my my Facebook Live
Chops.
vibe going.
Yeah.
I was like, do I look at you? Do I look at the camera? What do I do with my
I
hands?
saw that, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
We'll shed it.
But
We'll
now,
take some lessons.
but now it's like fucking hanging out in the living room.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. It's loose, man.
Just putting ourselves out there, man. The afternoon, people tuning in. Clearly, it's a very stressful process.
Got the record collection there, the salt lamp, the Wilco poster,
That's a great poster.
my kids' toys. It's all over the place.
It's the salt lamp. Brings
Yeah.
the good vibes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you.
So, when's your next performance? We'll do a quick gig plug to close things out.
Yeah, we're doing my next performance is with Andy Falco.
Cool.
Saturday we're playing the Great South Bay Festival. It's Andy Falco and friends. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Where is that?
It's on Long Island.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's cool.
You should leave now. Actually, you should start driving now.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get to the gig on time.
So that'll be cool. But we do Railroad is going to North String Summit and to a festival in Wisconsin, and then we record a new record.
Cool.
Yeah, we're going down to Louisiana. We're recording a new record. Hey, Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20.
Oh, great. We can't-
Yeah, South Bay will be fun. I always love Electric Falco set.
That's great, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the new record, how it's all going to shape up. Me and Todd worked on some tunes. Todd's worked on some stuff with Anders Osborne. Andy's done some hanging with him. He's got some of his own things sitting around, and we're supposed to get together as a band pretty soon here. So, see.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. And see you soon. We'll do another one.
Later, guys.
Later.
And that shit.
Cool.
Very nice, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Always nice. It was awesome.
I was cracked that the caffeine was hitting me so hard up top. I was just jumping right in. Sloan, I haven't seen Sloan. I was like, hey, Sloan's going to see you in a couple years. Here we go. We're about to go live. Cool. But that was great, man. It was nice to come in and play some tunes and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Play the tunes. Sloan got to hear the live cut of this little riff that I.
That's like a little extra treat,
Man, this was probably the most eventful trip to New Jersey I've had in quite a while. Saw my brother yesterday.
Nice.
Got this under my belt.